Hi, I'm Mary McGloin. I am one of the co-creators of Tech Betties, and I play Cass. And I'm here to interview the lovely Tom Ashton, who plays Moose and Moose Benz. And yeah, let's get started. Do you want to say hello and talk for yourself first?
My name is Tom Ashton. I am an actor and musician, if that's not evident. And yes, I auditioned for Moose. I think actually I found out about the project through Helene,
Right, casting
casting
director.
director. Yeah, Helene Gillick. And yeah, I just like the idea of Moose and just who he is, and just his vibe, and almost that Zen-like quality, I guess, is what drew me to him. So I like that. I'm a yoga guy. I'm suffering greatly with this pandemic and not being able to go to yoga classes. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I definitely that's where I came into it with Moose. Came in there, auditioned for you guys, and it clicked. Presumably.
Well, it was actually you. It was you're doing the you were so spot on with the yoga chanting. Like, this guy's perfect for Moose.
Yeah.
Because it's also like some people came in very like hippied out,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was like, this guy's from Palo Alto and he snorts coke as well as being a hippie. So he's not your like
What are you saying? What are you saying about me?
no, I mean you have both like you could wear a suit
Right?
and you could be in your bohemian yoga class and yoga clothes and
Yeah, right. Yeah, because that's one thing I thought about Moose was like he's a businessman. I mean, the bottom
yeah.
line is like he is Zen and all that, but I mean I guess he'd be a Zen capitalist. I don't know what he'd be under, but he's it just like, but there is that balance. Like he's got to have an energy that carries over into the working world, and that's kind of how I thought. Like he'd have to have a certain amount of authority, you know. So I mean, there's a
Exactly.
certain like, and that's the energy I was thinking with the character, that, you know, as much as he's, you know, in that zone of meditative thought and whatnot, the bottom line is he has to make executive decisions, and in a way that's, well, I don't know. I mean, I wonder if I think he does care a little bit how people feel about him within the office and all that, but I think ultimately, like, it's about his inner peace, you know, and that's what I think is, and he's very well. I guess that's what it is. I guess the best way to describe it is like I saw him as very Buddhist, you know, the middle way, you know,
Yeah.
between the material world and the spiritual world, and he obviously has been pretty successful in the material world, and so to do that, you have to be able to, you know, read the room, go into meetings, and do well that way. So yeah. So anywho's.
Cool. Um, so what sort of person do you think would enjoy this show?
I think anyone who likes office comedies, you know, like The Office, be it American or British, Silicon, you know, Valley, you know, like something like that, especially. I think the humor of the office dynamic. There's so many. You think about like good stories, and especially when if you want to stay with a character, I think office stories are great because there's so much. It's kind of open ended, and that's the thing. You can't have too much closure to storylines, and to me, that kind of environment. Also, I like the dynamic of what, you know, your character and Annie's character. You know, like they basically. The odds at what they're up against in that environment.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because actually when getting on set, I found I had a kind of like, there's a natural affinity to like start, you know, just riffing off each other and the jokes. I mean, David was hilarious, and just things like that on set. And I found myself actually with doing Moose, like I had to kind of detach a little bit and remember like, okay, my energy is counter to their energy. And that's a very natural dynamic. And then to see, you know, you in it with your character, with Cass, and you know, it's like it was definitely, it was really interesting. It was definitely it felt like it came alive very quickly. And I think that would be interesting to the viewer. I think it'd be something where I'd like to see what your obstacles are, your characters were in that environment. So yeah, I think people who are interested in that kind of a dynamic would like it. I think.
I think you're right. I think that's what sort of person do you think would love or relate to Moose?
Definitely the Burning Man crowd, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think a lot of people would. I think it's something where it's just like, I don't know, characters like that, I wonder if you enjoy watching them. Sometimes would you want to be in an office with them, because sometimes that chilled out vibe could be a little bit like, oh, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that, and you're like being so chill, it's almost like you're not helping me. But he seems like he's the ultimate problem solver guy. So maybe people who are stressed out might like being around him, just like, okay, this guy's chill, he's bringing my energy down. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, well, I mean, it's funny because he's based on an amalgamation of, I don't know if that's the right word, like a smattering of different people that both Amanda and I worked with, that kind of shaped who all these characters turned out to be. And I definitely worked with people like this. And so he's not entirely, just a fiction from our brains. He came from qualities of different people. So I think like there are people that are like him. And I think those people would see themselves in it. And I don't know if they would get like, because he goes to a darker place at the later in this series than we see in these episodes that are in the web series. How is Moose like you versus how is Moose different from you in real life?
He's like me in the sense that, yeah, I actually do try to find the middle way. I think that's hard, to find the middle way between the spiritual world and the material world. So in that sense, I totally related to him, and I appreciate that. I don't do coke, so that's different.
That's the healthier way to go.
Yeah, but and I'm not as fiscally set as he is, that's for sure. So I think his extreme wealth is very different from mine, but I think in essence, I think he doesn't see the world through that lens, that he has money, he has wealth. That's what I liked about him, was like, it seems like this is something we're doing. It's more about the work, it seems like. And and that's why bringing on your character, I thought, he sees like, hey, I just want to do the best work we can here, create the best product or whatever, and his viewpoint. And and you're the best one out there, so let's get them on board, and let's see. So I appreciate that. I think, you always want to work with the best people. I mean, as actors, you want to work with people who really, you click with, and who really, inspire you. So I think that's something I get from him.
I'm curious because I got some comments while we were on, in these festivals about, the first scene with Cass and Moose, where he does the whole massage thing and the
Right.
bowing and all that, and people were like, what about the Me Too movement and this whole idea? And they're like, does this kind of stuff still happen? And I'm like, this happens in the world all the time. Like, but I was wondering on your take of it, because like, how did you perceive that in his mind?
I think, what, because it actually did cross my mind, and that crossing the line and making physical contact. And I thought there is an innocence to him. I felt like, in the sense that like, he doesn't feel he's crossing a line. Like, he's actually, again, being a generous spirit, and kind of like, hey, she seems really tense this interview. Let me turn it around and try to, de-stress her out, which is completely wrong. But I don't think there was like, a creepy subtext to that encounter. I don't think it was inappropriate, but not creepy. And that was something, I guess, I was kind of conscious of, in terms of like just being energetically with that seemed to be more like in a spiritual frame of mind about it, rather than, anything potentially,
So
creepy.
that was another thing I was looking for in the auditions from people, like,
Mhm.
because some people did kind of go on the creepy side, and I'm like, that's not gonna work.
No, yeah, yeah,
Work because she takes the job,
right, exactly. That's the
So,
thing. It can't be too creepy that she rejects. She was like, say, why would? Because you're gonna totally destroy the motivation for your character to be in to work there. Exactly. So it's got to be something where it's like, okay, he's off, but I kind of like this place. I kind of like what's possible here. It's so something where it's like it can't be too far in that direction. Yeah, because I love having like being on the ball and things like that, and just kind of moving around
yeah,
there, and just like those. I think the environment. That's what I loved about the production. The design of like the office and how it was set up was it conveyed that. So that's always great when you prepare for a character, then you get on set and you're like, oh cool, this is exactly kind of how there's more tools to play with
yeah,
for the character. But yeah, that's interesting. I know, I thought about that. That you know
yeah. Like I wasn't even planning on asking you that, but then I thought, no, that'd be a good question. So I'm gonna ask.
it makes me think of like Arrested Development. Buster's always going around giving like hey brother, hey sister. He's always giving little neck rubs. But again, it's innocent, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So, what did you love or hate about Moose, if anything?
Did I love or hate? Um, hmm.
Or maybe a favorite moment from the show?
Um, to me, yeah, it's funny. I guess with Moose, it's just like he's very observational. So like I think that's something that I felt more once we got on set and we're shooting. Like I could convey that more, and that's what I really liked about him. That he tends to be an observer in life, and the element of that scene in the conference room when you first come in, the introduction and all that. It's like it's I like that about him, that he's kind of like, okay, let's see, the friction, what's going to happen here. Like I'm bringing this new variable into the situation and see how they react. And kind of like, it's like he has a certain, I don't know if you want to call him a puppeteer, because he's not really, but almost like, let's see what this sparks and all that stuff. So I kind of like that about him. What I didn't like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I didn't like anything about him. So
Well,
I
that's
liked him.
good.
Yeah,
That's
he's all
good.
right. He's an all right guy.
Did you have a favorite moment in the show, or a favorite
Um,
thing that you
I
did?
did like that little bit coming in with. I love the opening scene. That's a great scene. That's a lot of great exposition, and it really kind of sets things up in terms of your character and the storyline and what's going on, but also just the dynamic of the whole office and the uniqueness of that world. Because I think that's important also. Like when you're from an audience perspective, I always had a perspective when I watch something. It's like, do I want to spend a chunk of time in this world? And I
Yeah,
think it's compelling enough where it's like, okay, here's the protagonist. These are the obstacles. This is the world they're in, and it was a very fun scene. So that one, and also when I like the little bit coming with Annie, at the desk coming in,
yeah,
and just that little recognition, and because for me as an actor, there's certain things I discovered, like even in that scene, like the way he connects with her and then immediately disconnects, and like kind of like goes on to something else. Like what's my next kind of thing? And yeah, those little moments I like, and I just like for a supporting character, I think it's important. Like they pop in and out, especially in a comedy. These people will pop in and out for various reasons. Yeah, there's so yeah, I don't. I guess his entrances and exits. I like the way we nailed that final shot of the first episode, like doing that whole timing thing coming out.
oh
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
that took a few takes. That was
I
actually fun
did.
when we finally got it.
And trying to get them to shoot the
Right,
the
the Nerf
Nerf
guns.
guns behind,
Yeah.
just freeze it midair. Yeah,
I think
that
there was a sense of collective accomplishment when we finally got that shot, which was nice.
that's true. Yeah, I'm glad you remember that. So I'm gonna shift the questions now
All right.
to you about, how did you get into acting, or what made you want to be an actor?
Um, well, my dad and actually my older sisters, we did community theater. So I did like my first play at this was 5 years old, I think it was.
Oh
I did
wow.
South Pacific, and so I did a bunch of that growing up. Kind of fell off playing baseball and things like that, and then I got back into it actually towards. Well, I always did plays in school and all that. I love that stuff, but I really I did a lot of summer theater through college, a lot of summer musicals and whatnot, and then I really got on the musician path, and then I kind of transitioned back into acting a few years ago. I did a film called Saturnalia, and that really got me going with that because it was actually a feature film, and it really got me wanting to explore acting more so seriously. And so I found a great class, started studying like the Strasberg stuff and a sensory work, and that really appealed to me in terms of just the yeah, I'm gonna sound like Moose, kind of like the spiritual quest of like acting and the spiritual melding of things. And again, then you get in, then when you want to pursue things professionally, it's the middle way, the
Yeah.
between the two, like what feeds the gigs that feed the body and the gigs that feed the soul. And so just because some gigs you get paid for and you're like and then other ones you don't, and or whatever, it's like you're kind of like, hey, that was a great gig. So it's like that fed the soul. So I think it's actually, it's funny that I did this commercial, and the woman who played my mom, she said I think she said she had three reasons she does a project: the money, the material, or the people. It's got to be one of those three.
Yeah.
And she goes, if we get 2 out of 3, that's great. 3 out of 3, it's like that's the holy grail. But it's got to be one of those three, and
Yeah.
that kind of holds true.
Yeah, I've heard that before, and that's pretty a way to evaluate taking a job or not.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right. If you had a magic wand and you could be on any show, what
Hmm.
would it be? Or do you have one that you?
Wow, that changes, like, especially during the pandemic and
Yeah, yeah.
all the
It's hard
shows I've
right
watched. I just finished watching Deutschland '86, and I love that Cold War vibe. So I was kind of on that vein, but wow, what would I guess it depends if it's comedy or drama. I love period pieces,
now.
you know, Mad Men, Alienist. I'm trying to get so many great ones. I think, what have I been watching recently? Um, I don't know. I guess the good writing. It's a fun character. It's something where uh, it, yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough question. I mean, if there's there is a reboot of Arrested Development. I kind of like the original better, the original one, but I loved Arrested Development. I'd love to be in that world.
Yeah.
I guess Ozark. That'd be a fun one. That's really good.
Oh yeah.
That's dark. I mean, thinking that was a Jason Bateman, jump from Arrested Development to that. Something like that.
Is there anything else you wanted to share? Anything you're working on right now you want to tell people about, or?
Um, Let me think. Well, there is a film called Such a Funny Life, where I play a very dark character. That's completely different. That's on Amazon now.
That's a
Um,
funny life.
Such a Funny Life, and it's
All right.
not funny. I play the antagonist in that, and that's out there. And I'll be doing a film with that same director, hopefully in January. He's at
Congratulations.
the finance. Thank you. That one's called Hero Lost Dirt. But we'll wait and see with everything going on life wise.
Yeah.
What do you think? Musically, I have some new singles out Spotify under Tom Ashton. So
Oh, okay. I'll have to add
get
you to my
some
Spotify.
music on there so you can hear what I do
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, I've been doing a lot more writing musically. Obviously, in this, it's so hard to collaborate acting wise with this pandemic. But
Definitely.
anyways, but yeah, that's what I got going on. I'm trying anything else really. It's um yeah. That kind of time frame.
Before I let you go, I have to show you this. This is
Oh,
your
so
award.
yes.
So for those out there that don't know this, Tom won Best Supporting Actor at the Seoul Web Fest in
The
Seoul, South
best.
Korea.
The best.
And I forgot to bring this with me when I saw you last, but now I'm like, I have to get this to Tom. This is your award.
Thank you. I'd
And
like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank.
yeah.
Yes, indeed. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. Thank you
Indeed.
for playing Noose.
And I love that you have your you have a keyboard back there behind
I
you.
have a keyboard and these are my guitar charts, but I'm not, I wouldn't call myself a musician.
Yes, of course, yeah.
I sing, I play a little bit, and I play a little bit of guitar, but I'm like, I feel like I'm not good enough at any of the instruments.
Well, yes, you are. You're doing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just have to practice more as the real thing.
You know what? Who said it? Was it Dylan said? 3 chords and the truth. That's all you need. So it's like,
3 chords and the truth. I like that.
All righty then. Well, thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for doing this and for playing.
I'll recheck the email for when you have your launch dates. What are your launch dates you're going to be doing? Putting them?
So at 10:10 a.m. on 10/10/2020.
Nice.
And then at 11/11 and at 12/12 on that day, I'm going to release 1, 2, 3.
All right,
on
cool.
the YouTube channel. And then I'm going to leave them up for 10 days until 10:10 p.m. on 10/20/2020.
Oh, nice, nice.
And I'm doing that because of all the 1s and 0s in there, which is the, binary.
Very good.
So it's a little gimmicky, but
No, good deal.
All right, Tom.
All righty then. Good to see you, Mary.
Good to see you too. Take care.
I'll see you.
Bye.